If you love this fictional story, do subscribe for more content and do not forget to hit that thumbs up button.
My father would often regale us with tales of Lord Richard's triumphant return to Greece and how his adept guidance gave rise to the Empire of Thessaly. In just a few short years, our forebear transformed into a fearsome commander, driving the Ottomans to a decisive confrontation at Larissa. It was there, in that monumental clash of titans, that the destiny of southern Greece hung in the balance as the scion of the Byzantine Empire faced off against the formidable Mehmet II. These events are carefully recorded in Lady Emily's Chronicles, a family treasure we carefully preserve in the Imperial Library. Embarking on a quest for Grecian shores, Lord Richard navigated the Iberian coastline with King Alfonso's blessing. The sovereign, having received Richard's missive outlining his desire to reclaim Constantinople, extended his patronage to his ambitious undertaking. As a token of support, he dispatched 100 Iberian mercenaries whose services he funded personally to join his 1,500-strong expedition. His fleet eventually arrived at the erstwhile despotate of Morea in the Peloponnese during the waning days of spring in 1469. His partisans heralded the return of Emperor Constantine's son to his birthplace, conveying news of his homecoming to the masses. The proclamation had the desired effect. A throng of thousands greeted him with the veneration due a king upon his anticipated arrival. Long-lost comrades who had heard tales of his exploits in England eagerly awaited this momentous day. Merely months prior, Ottoman rule pervaded the land, but a series of uprisings had turned the tide, affording Lord Richard the perfect opportunity to lend his support to the cause. Though a few elder statesmen expressed dissatisfaction at his belated appearance, the vast majority rejoiced in his presence and the formidable force that accompanied him. The Byzantine prince wasted no time in marshalling a band of raiders to strike at the nearest Ottoman strongholds during the ensuing winter, leaving the Ottomans in disbelief. Months of ferocious skirmishes and numerous triumphs culminated in a decisive confrontation. Richard's command and martial prowess galvanized legions, amassing an army of such magnitude that his status as the region's preeminent leader became indisputable. The clarion call for his ascension to the imperial throne resounded, for he was the proud scion of Emperor Constantine. In the shadow of the Ottoman Empire's imposing bombards, Lord Richard knew full well the havoc these monstrous weapons could wreak. As the fateful Battle of Larissa loomed, he recognized that disabling these engines of destruction was essential for any hope of victory. His scouts vigilantly monitored the enemy's movements, collecting vital intelligence on the bombard's whereabouts and defensive measures. Armed with this knowledge, the prince forged a cunning strategy to dismantle these lethal weapons before they could be brought to bear on our forces. In the twilight preceding the battle, Lord Richard dispatched his most adept and elusive warriors, masters of sabotage and demolition, to infiltrate the Ottoman encampment under a cloak of darkness. Their objective, to render the bombards inoperative, ensuring they would remain dormant throughout the imminent clash. The audacious nocturnal foray proved triumphant as the incursion team, comprised of Ottoman Christians sympathetic to his cause, deftly and quietly navigated the enemy camp. With remarkable efficiency and subterfuge, they sabotaged the bombards undetected before melting into the pre-dawn shadows, leaving the Ottoman forces oblivious to the impairment of their cherished armaments. As the Ottomans marched brazenly towards Lord Richard and his host, confident that their bombards would guarantee their victory, they soon discovered their weapons were incapacitated. Their commanders, dumbfounded and disoriented, scrambled to revise their strategy as Greek forces seized the moment to unleash the offensive. As the battle commenced, Lord Richard and his men occupied a strategic ridge, surveying the advancing Ottoman army below. Their archers and crossbowmen readied themselves to rain a relentless hail of arrows upon the encroaching foe, while their cannons, perched on the highest ground to maximize range and precision, targeted the bewildered enemy.
With unshakable confidence in their numerical superiority, the Ottomans pressed forward, hoping to minimize casualties from the Greek artillery. Yet Byzantine archers unleashed a torrent of arrows, sowing discord and confusion among their ranks. Simultaneously, Lord Richard's well-positioned artillery bombarded the approaching forces with devastating cannon fire. Sensing the enemy's wavering resolve, our forebear commanded his cavalry to charge. This swift, decisive onslaught caught the Ottomans off guard, and his disciplined horsemen tore through the disordered and weakened ranks. Amid the pandemonium, enemy soldiers struggled to reorganize and found themselves outflanked and outmatched. Their muskets proved useless against the ferocity of the Byzantine onslaught. Throughout the battle, Lord Richard remained composed and resolute, orchestrating his forces with surgical precision and inspiring them towards victory. With each tactical maneuver, the Ottoman army crumbled, eventually forcing the remnants to flee. Lord Richard's masterful employment of ranged units, artillery and cavalry, combined with his astute understanding of the terrain and his troops' strengths, culminated in a resounding victory over the vastly larger Ottoman force. The Battle of Larissa bore witness to his strategic brilliance, cementing his legacy as an illustrious military leader and the newly anointed Emperor of Thessaly. In the aftermath of their spectacular triumph, Christians from surrounding regions flocked to Thessaly, and Sultan Mehmet II grew increasingly disquieted by the emergence of a formidable adversary, one whose father had fallen to his conquest of Constantinople.
In the green heart of England, Earl James of Devon found himself ensnared in a web of deceit, falsely accused of treachery by King Edward. Tempted by the persuasive Jasper Tudor, he cast his lot with the Lancastrian cause. When the dust settled on the War of the Roses, Henry VII emerged victorious and claimed the crown. In gratitude for James's unwavering support, the new king bestowed upon him the title of Duke of Arlington and entrusted him with the construction of a formidable military port east of Plymouth. Tidings of these events crossed seas and mountains, reaching the ears of Emperor Richard of Thessaly, who penned a heartfelt letter of felicitations to his firstborn son. As England revelled in a fleeting interlude of peace, the Duke of Arlington embarked on a voyage to visit his father, keenly aware it might be their final encounter. Although their reunion brimmed with joy, the passing of Lady Emily cast a sombre shadow over the proceedings. James returned to England, bearing his grandmother's earthly remains to be interred in Plymouth. Bound by the relentless conflict with the Ottomans, Emperor Richard was unable to attend the solemn ceremony. Instead, he dispatched his son John as his emissary, accompanied by a missive commending King Henry on his ascension. Touched by the emperor's words, the king reciprocated with a generous gift of gold to bolster Richard's crusade against the Ottoman scourge, a gesture that resonated deeply within the emperor's heart. In the fullness of time, Richard's relentless determination bore fruit as he unified Thessaly, Athens, and the Peloponnese islands under his reign, earning the title Richard I, Emperor of Thessaly. A consummate tactician, he staved off the encroaching Ottomans, orchestrating the defense of his dominion with great skill. Sensing the growing tide of his popularity, the Ottomans extended an olive branch, offering a peace treaty on the condition that he renounced any claim to Constantinople or face their unbridled fury. Weighing the future of his son, John IX, and with age's weariness upon him, Richard acquiesced. In the spring of 1503, the final Byzantine prince exhaled his last breath within the imposing walls of his imperial castle in Morea. His death cast a pall of foreboding over the remnants of Byzantine territories, leaving them fearful for what lay ahead. Emperor John, then bearing the mantle of leadership, recognized that he must embody the charisma and fortitude his father had exemplified, pledging to shield his people from the ever-looming Ottoman menace. With a vast fortune at his command, he fortified his empire, seeking alliances with Christian neighbors, eager to curb Ottoman expansion. Thus, the Harrington Palaiologos family rose as a beacon of hope and resilience in those uncertain times, kindling the spirits of European monarchs as they faced the growing shadows of an unpredictable future.
In the next episode, we'll delve into Chapter 4 and explore the growth of the Harrington-Palaiologos dynasty during the colonial age. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and share it. Furthermore, we'd love for you to join our growing community of subscribers, so if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. We look forward to reading from your comments below. Cheers!